Come on in, everybody. Come on in, because I'm about to do my review, a recap for Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 9. And this discussion and review and recap is going to be for Alexis and Justin. Now, y'all, this episode actually, it just kind of made me really sad watching Alexis, because I really just said, as I watched her talk this whole episode to Justin and also to that Dr. Pia, I just kept saying to myself, Alexis sure is fake. She's a fraud. There used to be a saying, back in the day, old people would say, oh, she likes to put on airs. She likes to put on airs. What that meant was she likes to appear as a certain person, but she's really not that person. That's who Alexis is to me. Alexis started telling us when we first met her, talking about she was has had 3 proposals and she's turned down 3 proposals. And the next thing you know, she talking about she on Hinge, swiping left, swiping right. She done gone from 3 proposals to being on Hinge. And one thing we've learned about Alexis, she loves to paint the picture that she's this highly sought after person. We go back to all the episodes. She definitely wants you to know that she's got a lot of options. She's highly sought after. She's definitely the better catch than Justin. All of these things. I don't know if y'all saw my parody video I did earlier this week with Alexis saying that she was a hypocrite. But if you haven't seen it, I'm going to leave the link at the end of this video and you can watch it. But one of the things I'm realizing about Alexis right now is Alexis has many faces. Just like she had that mask on in the beginning of the episode with Justin, and they was putting these masks on, and she was talking about there's 5 or 6 different layers of masks. That's what Alexis has. Now I actually see how we even got here. In that parody video, I showed a lot of different little things where Alexis would say one thing and do something else. And another thing we saw was the way she performed in front of Pastor Cal. It's kind of one of the reasons why in the beginning of the season, I actually thought these two would make it. Before we saw the weddings and we kind of just saw the matchmaking special, I thought, oh, I like Alexis. I like what she's saying. It sounds like she's been on this healing journey. She's learned from her past mistakes. She's ready to be different. And I actually thought that she and Justin would work out well. But I quickly saw when that wedding came on, I was like, this girl is not ready. I started to see where this Alexis that we were seeing on the screen was different from the Alexis that was talking to Pastor Cal and also Dr. Pepper. And if you watch my hypocrisy video, you'll see what I'm talking about. But this episode, we got another glimpse of how she puts on in front of the experts. Because the performance that she did for Dr. Pia was the same performance she did for Pastor Cal. None of it was really the real Alexis. By the end of that discussion with Dr. Pia, Alexis wanted us to believe that it was actually Justin who was the runner. It was actually Justin who's the one that shuts down conversations and runs. But we all know, we've been watching all these episodes, and it isn't Justin is the one that's the runner. It's Justin that shuts down. It's her. She's the one that's walking out. She's the one sleeping in her apartment in her house. She's the one saying she'll never leave, but she's always leaving, saying she's fed up and she's done. But all of a sudden now, when she's in front of Dr. Pia, she's telling Dr. Pia she's the stable one and Justin is the runner, and he's so tie-tongued, he can't even properly explain himself. There's one thing that is true about Justin. He's not the best communicator at all. He isn't. But let me tell you, the song and dance that Alexis did on Dr. Pia, I was shocked and amazed. In part of that session with Dr. Pia, Justin tries to explain that, he's frustrated, he doesn't feel understood, and because of that, he shuts down. He was also trying to explain that he actually isn't a scary person, because he's saying that's why he's so vulnerable. When he was saying he isn't scared of his feelings getting hurt, what he's saying is, even though his feelings may get hurt, he doesn't put up his walls. He still keeps his walls down. He didn't actually say it really eloquently, or he didn't say it right, but if you really listen to him, what he was telling you was that even though I get hurt and even though I get harmed, I go back in the ring. I keep fighting. Now, when he was talking to Dr. Pia, he was saying, he doesn't feel understood by Alexis. He was saying that she's never going to understand him, and he's tired of explaining it 10 or 15 different ways.
I feel completely misunderstood, and it's frustrating because I feel like it's exhausting. Frustrating. It's exhausting trying to get you to understand. Like, that's why I shut down, because it's like, you're not going to understand me. Even if I try to break it down like a third grader, it's like, oh, okay,
Now here's the thing. Alexis had the great comeback. She actually had a very good comment she made after Justin said that, right? She said to him, well, that's not the way to handle things. That's a problem in our relationship. You shouldn't shut down.
But I feel like it brings up a controversy in our relationship because I respect what you're saying and I want to understand you because it's not about being right or wrong. It's about understanding you because if I understand you, I know how your characteristics are going to carry on for many other situations. So I need to understand you.
But when she's talking to Dr. Pia, it sounds really good, and everybody there is listening to her and saying, yeah, we agree, Alexis, you sound really good. But here's the problem. But just earlier in the day when they were on the beach, she was singing a whole different tune. She was talking about when Justin was saying that he was trying to understand her, she had a completely different reaction to him than the reaction she's giving to Dr. Pia.
Real?
No, I get it. I mean, I'm trying to understand.
You can't, some things you won't be able to understand because we don't relate in that way. You said you're not the type to get up and go.
Yeah.
You're not. So you're not going to be able to relate to somebody who gets up and goes every chance they get. But I feel like it brings up a controversy in our relationship because I respect what you're saying and I want to understand you because it's not about being right or wrong. It's about understanding you because if I understand you, I know how your characteristics are going to carry on for many other situations. So I need to understand you.
Trying to understand.
You can't, some things you won't be able to understand because we don't relate in that way. You said you're not the type to get up and go.
Yeah.
You're not. So you're not going to be able to relate to somebody who gets up and goes every chance they get.
So in one way she's saying, yeah, I really want to understand you. But then when Justin was saying he wants to understand her, she told him when they were alone and she wasn't putting on airs that there's no way he could understand her. How can she understand him if she's telling him, you can't never understand me? And Justin got all flabbergasted. Let me tell you, he was so embarrassed. He was so embarrassed in front of Dr. Pia because he was rambling. A lot of what Justin was saying, he was piggybacking off what they had talked about earlier. Because just when Justin said that comment about she doesn't really know me, and she was like, oh, well, I don't know you now. Well, just earlier in the day, Alexis basically told Justin, you can't relate to me because you don't know me.
But she also doesn't know me that well. You know what I'm saying? She only knows.
I don't know you. It's not going to make a connection. We'll be here all day. You just won't get it because you don't have that perspective. Whereas somebody else who's just like, nope, she right, get on, leave that man. You know, like, it's different perspective is everything.
But she also doesn't know me that well. You know what I'm saying? She only knows.
I don't know you. It's not going to make a connection. We'll be here all day. You just won't get it because you don't have that perspective. Whereas somebody else who's just like, nope, she right, get on, leave that man. You know, like, it's different perspective is everything.
She was basically saying that there's somebody else that could understand her better. So he was really giving back to her. Maybe it may seem kind of petty, but he was giving back to her what she gave to him earlier. And what she said earlier was somebody can understand me better. And what he was saying when he told her in front of Dr. Pia, you don't really know me, he was basically throwing back at her what she had thrown at him earlier. But nobody else would know that because they weren't there earlier. But we were because we got to see it. So Justin starts to look crazy, but the truth of the matter is, he's remembering what they had talked about earlier on the beach. And when she starts talking about this, about when you shut down on me and you give up on us, you're not helping me help you, she is putting on airs for Dr. Pia. But her reality of how she acts in the moments is nothing like what she says when she's talking in front of professional people.
And when you give up on me and when you shut down, you're not helping me help you, help us. I didn't have that push in me, that drive into me to just be like, okay, give him some time, work it out, like, and that's what I needed because I do run. And when you give up on me and when you shut down, you're not helping me help you, help us.
She starts talking about Justin is the one giving up on her. Girl, you're the one that walks out all the time.
We need to keep talking until we are understood. And you might get spent. It might be frustrating. You might have to say, you know what, time out.
She's up here nodding at Dr. Pia talking about we need to start talking until we're understood. We remember last episode when she said, I'm done talking. She said, I'm done talking. You know, honestly, y'all, I'm so over Alexis. I really am over Alexis. Alexis thinks that she has changed from the person she used to be. I don't think she's changed one bit. In fact, I don't even think Alexis knows who she is because she continually presents herself as one person, but when you actually watch the way she moves and what she does, she's not that person at all. She definitely doesn't want to be with Justin. In fact, on the after party, Justin pretty much hung her out to dry. You can almost tell that these two aren't together by the time they feel that after party, because Justin was talking about, when they asked Justin, do you think Alexis was ready for marriage? He said flat, point blank, period, no. I don't think Justin's perfect. I think he definitely has some issues with communication that he needs to work on. But I don't think Justin has done anything so terrible in the marriage that will require her to walk out on the marriage. I wish her well, but I think one of the things she's going to have to do is she's going to have to humble herself, because at this point in time, I think she thinks she has her stuff together way more than she does. And the problem is with all the men she comes in contact with. I think she has a lot of work to do when it comes to staying committed in a relationship. But anyway, that's it, y'all. Please watch my other videos. Talk to you later. Bye.